My name is Ashley and I'm from Hong Kong. I graduated in EF New York in 2016 with IB Diploma. And after that, I went to UK for uni, which is in Lancaster University. I did sociology, and currently I'm working for EF now, full cycle. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Sophie. I'm 19. I graduated at the Academy Torbay this year in 2020. I did the IB Diploma as well, and now I'm doing an internship at the Academy Germany. So what was a typical day like at the Academy?
So typical day would start with me going to the breakfast to have breakfast with my friends and have classes. And at the end of the day, I had activities, or during the weekend I would go to New York with my friends. So basically the whole day, every day has been like that. How about you?
Did you one question? Did you have to be at school from 8:30 to 5:15, or could you go to your dorms in between?
Um, I would say for grade 12, because for IB we had the TOK classes, right? And during the second term, you don't have any TOK classes anymore. So I would say during the TOK classes, I get to go back to my room. But to be honest, during the day, I wouldn't even go back to my room because I have to go to the next classes right away. I think there was a 5 minutes or 10 minutes gap, and usually the teachers just love us so much. So usually the class just overrun. So we just ran to another classroom. So technically, I didn't get to go back to my dorm, I would say.
Yeah, because for us it was different. As we were a town, some residences were a bit further away, so the whole school was in school from 8:30, Tuesday 9:30, but all the other days 8:30 until at least 4:15. And if you had a seventh period, you had it until 5:15, but otherwise the whole day was in school. And then after 4:15, you could go to town, you could go back to your residence. I, for example, always, not always, but most of the days, I went to the gym with some friends and then home. So there wasn't really an option to go back to the residence or something. I don't know if it's different on a campus, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we were in a town, it wasn't possible.
Yeah, more or less, I think it's around the same. Yeah. What was it like to having roommates from other countries?
I have to say I had not a lot, but I had a few roommates from Italy, Norway, and Mexico. And it was always different, but always special. There was always a kind of connection with your roommates, and you could talk about everything, but it was always different with every single roommate, but always great. I don't know, I love my roommates, and I love my rooms as well, and we decorated it nice. And yeah, I enjoyed having roommates because it was kind of like a sister.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I remember my first year when I was about to go there, and then during a info meeting session, and then someone from Hong Kong said that the staff at EF said, "Oh, you should prepare a little gift for your roommate." So in my mind, I thought, I think I'm the only one who's bringing gift, but it's either it's a EF thing or they were being so nice too. So we were exchanging gifts, and that was so cute because I have a roommate from France and I have a roommate from Shanghai, and it's so interesting how our gifts are kind of representing where we're from, and it's so interesting, honestly. And I love having roommate from other countries because that was my first time actually sharing rooms with people as well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, from not knowing them, and especially not from your countries, not from we don't share the same culture, right? But it's so interesting to, I guess, everyone just merge together and have a great time. I honestly
Yeah,
enjoy.
it's actually it's crazy. You just get a random person in your room and you live with them, and after a week they're you've known them for years.
I
It's
know.
I don't know, I loved having roommates, and I'm still in contact with some of my roommates.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I don't know, I had a single room in between, but then I said to a friend, which was always in my room, I was just come to my room, just stay with me the whole time, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Because I always had big rooms. I actually never had bunk beds.
Really?
Never. I always had single beds. I was so lucky.
Ah, wow. I remember everyone suggested from the EF office said if you don't want to be on a bunk bed, go earlier. to the room, so you get to choose your bed. But I guess everyone is very nice no matter what bed they choose, because I guess at the end of the day the bed is not is not that
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Like the thing
But
is with the rooms, for example, like some rooms are smaller, some rooms are a bit bigger, but every room is special on its own. Like if you decorate it nice, if you do it nice with
mm,
your roommate, if you put something from both of your cultures in there, or like three, no, like it depends on how many roommates you have. It's like it's your room, it's special, you know? It's
yeah,
never gonna look the same if somebody else lives in there. And that's so
you
cool
like I
actually.
love how, yeah, like having your own small corner decorated, and then it just
Yeah.
feels like home. Yeah.
Yeah. And the food. Like I learned so much about Mexican food, for example, about
Ah,
Norwegian chocolate and everything.
yeah.
It's like
It's
you get
it's
to know a lot more food.
yeah, it's interesting how food is what brings everyone together. Like everyone just sharing their local snacks. Yeah, like that's honestly so cute.
Yeah. How did you spend your weekends in New York? As it was a campus, I don't know if it has been different from Turkey since we're a town.
I would say, to be honest, our campus in New York, it's an hour away from Manhattan. So I wouldn't say like every weekend I would go to New York, because that costs quite a lot too. Because New York itself is quite an expensive place to go, especially if you want very amazing great food, which is everywhere in New York. So usually during the weekend, if I feel like going to New York City, I'll go with my friends. We take a taxi to the nearest train station, and then we just take a train, get off in Grand Central, and then basically start our day in New York. Or sometimes EF are so nice, like during weekend we have like weekend trip, and then they will have like a coach to drive us to like New York. I remember I went to the MoMA museum with EF, and it was so great, because in a way you don't have to care about the transportation, because they will just
Yeah.
take you there, take you back, and then it was a great day. So sometimes during the week, so I would say I spend my weekend um, either in New York, going to like school trips. Sometimes EF will have like bowling trips, or I remember one time they had like rock climbing, which is such an amazing story too, because ended up only 4 people signed up, which is all 4 of them are my friends, because for some reason no one signed up, and in my mind I was like, oh no, the school gonna cancel it. But they
Yeah.
were so nice, they still brought us to rock climbing. So
Oh.
yeah, I would say I spend most of my weekend doing different stuff. How about you?
Actually, like I'm a person, I enjoyed going to the gym. So on Saturdays, I most of the time went to the gym. And then I did a lot with friends. We went to Exeter, we went to Plymouth, like the closest cities by. We sometimes just went for a coffee in town. If there was nice weather, we were all sitting at the beach, like my whole group of friends, we were all sitting there enjoying the weather, listening to music. And I think it was like more doing something with friends
Mm-hmm.
and visiting the closest cities next, like Exeter, Plymouth. This were like the cities where it takes like 1.5 hours maybe to go there. But
Yeah.
also Turkey has like Torbay had really nice spots where you could go to drink a coffee or something, or just sit at the seaside. So I would say I mostly did that, and yeah, and an IB2 homework, of course.
That's true. That's true. Oh, that is so cute. Like I wish there are like seaside by New York City too, but it's just I think the nearest water that we had is like the Hudson River, which is like a
Mm.
riverside, but we have to go to Tarrytown, which is amazing too. But having a sea view and having coffee is great. It's
Yeah,
always
like we sometimes just sat there in our clothes, maybe let it be sports leggings, you know. We were just sitting there, and then some more, like then one friend of mine was like, "I want to go swimming." I was like, "Yeah, me too," and we just jumped in the water. Like
oh,
it was
it's
like
great
it was
memory.
great. Like some people were playing football, others were swimming. The next ones were just sitting there and listening to music. It was like just everybody together, and it was so nice.
Oh, that's amazing. I bet that I bet it's such a great memory when you look back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that's why I was sad this year, for example. I was like, we don't have a summer.
Mhm.
So I
Uh,
mentioned the food earlier. How was the food in New York?
I would say I would say because during my first year, I miss home so much. So I would always have lunch in New York Chinatown. So I'm talking about in New York City. I will talk about the
Yeah.
campus. So I always had like a dumplings from Chinatown because I love dumplings so much. It's always from the same shop, same order every Saturday when I'm craving for
Yeah.
dumplings. So I always go there. But they like New York is a very like integrated city too. Like you have you have many exposures to different cultures as well. So you get to try a lot of different food, and I really enjoy every meal that I had in New York City. But also in campus as well. I love how I'm not too sure about Torbay. But in New York, we kind of have like a canteen, and it's kind of like a self-serving situation where like they put all the food here, and then you get to pick what you want. And every day the menu will change. And sometimes when they're feeling cooking Chinese food, they will cook Chinese food. If someday they feel like cooking Italian food, they'll cook that. And I honestly like that a lot because you get to pick and choose on what you want to eat. And I love how they have like a wide range of like vegetables and fruits. So if someday you feel like, oh, you know what, I'm maybe gaining a little bit weight, or maybe I feel like eating more clean, you have the chance to eat more fruit and salad. And I honestly appreciate the food canteen in New York, especially on Saturday. Sometimes, actually every Saturday morning, they will push out like a waffle machine kind of thing. So you get to make your own waffles.
That's
I don't know
cool.
why, right? Like it's just waffle. Like we get to have waffle every day, but the fact that you're the one who making it
It's like super exciting.
makes it more special. And there was always a long queue, and that's my motivation of waking up early on Saturday, to be honest, to actually skip the queue. Well, I can make my own waffle. So I honestly appreciate that a lot. And you can put ice cream, like, oh my God, so great. Yeah.
Well, I think for us it was a bit different because we don't have a canteen where we go to every day. We have like the dining room in residence, and then we have the canteen for lunch in school.
Mm-hmm.
And like for breakfast, I never ate breakfast, so I can't really say something about breakfast actually. I just remember that on Sundays on Sundays we always had British breakfast, like the beans and the sausages and everything, which was great because like we were in the UK, so we kind of got I don't know how to say, we got like we got British food as we were there, so to like get to know the food, and I remember sometimes I went down to eat the sausages because I really like the sausages. um, but in host family, for example, my host mom was more like, yeah, do your breakfast if you want to do breakfast, but for lunch we got sandwiches then. And in school we had a salad bar with like baguettes and sandwiches and wraps. And then the hot set where there was something new every single day. But like rice, for example, was there all the time, and then you could choose a new kind of meat or a sauce or whatever you wanted. And for example, I always chose my sandwich. I always had my brown sandwich with cheese, tomato, cucumber, and salad. And the guy there, Kevin, he always knew what I wanted. I just came. He was like, Sophie, I'm gonna make it ready.
Oh,
It
that is
was
so
like, yeah,
cute.
we were like such a small community, and everybody knew everybody, and it was so cute.
Yeah.
And I didn't have problems with the food, but I have to be honest, at the beginning it was kind of like I had to get used to it as it was different from home. But like it was special in its own way, and I got to know the British culture as well, especially when I was in host family, because she always cooked British stuff. Like then she did beans with, for example, omelette or something, which I've never seen before like that. And it was interesting to see how people eat there and everything. So yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's great. So how's EF Academy different than a high school in your home country?
Um, Different from here. There are actually a lot of differences. Like, I have to say, I first started high school in Germany before I went to EF. Like, I did the 11th grade here already.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like my classes, for example, we were 30 people. The classes were much bigger. And like, beside from the couple of teachers which were amazing, but like most of the teachers didn't give a lot of support. Like if you had a problem, you had to study on your own. If you would have asked them for help, they wouldn't have helped you. Like the teachers at EF do, for example, they're like, they come in the evenings. If you say you have a lot of problems, they will be like, yeah, no worries, I'm just going to come in study time and help you. And like the support you get from the teachers and the sizes of the class, they're like a big difference. And I enjoyed it a lot. It was so much better for me because like the teachers can actually focus on the students. And what I loved, which is like obvious for the school, but the international community inside the class. Like when you talk about something, for example, in business, when you like have a point of view and then somebody says his point of view, which is completely different, and they're like, hey, my country does it this way. Then you're like, wow, that's actually a way I never thought of. And I really like that. Like I enjoyed that a lot. And that's nothing like we have in Germany, as we're like mostly German.
Yeah, I agree that with that a lot, because especially when you're in a boarding school, and then like for some reason the connection between like students or teacher are just way stronger than like a traditional school, I would say.
Yeah.
Even compared to like Hong Kong traditional school, which I spent roughly 5 years in. Actually, I was ready to go to like the local exam that I was planning to go to like a Hong Kong universities well. Then but I was struggling in school, and there's just one day I decided, you know what, it's time to go. But I would say the biggest difference is definitely the support from the teachers.
Yeah.
And for me, it's also the education system and the differences as well. I love how IB, they separated things into different levels.
Yeah.
So you can actually pick it with your interest and your level. For example, for me, I don't know why I'm exposing myself, but my maths, they are not like my math skills are like zero, you know? So
Like the same.
actually, so actually having the opportunity to choose like different level of maths really makes me feel so good. And I remember I always get so like sad, and whenever I get back my maths results, like, oh, why am I failing this test again? From when I was in US, I was acing my maths. My parents couldn't believe it at all, because you know, so like having the opportunity to really choosing your level, and also on top of that having that support from teachers, it's honestly amazing, and I really appreciate that a lot.
What I think is great is that you have one science. Because in Germany you have to have two, like one in, like at least one in high level, I think. I'm not sure, but you have to have two science. And I was like, yes, just one, because I'm, for example, like I chose physics anyways, but I'm, for example, like a person, I prefer more to do stuff like languages, business, whatever. And I enjoyed that much more than having something to do with numbers. So it was great for me because like everybody can choose their IB like how they want it to be, you know, like your personal interest. And that's something which is really great.
Yeah, like honestly makes studying way more enjoyable, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the support from the teachers, like if you're struggling and you want to give up, the teachers come up to you and they're like, hey, don't worry, we're gonna get this, just breathe, like take 5 minutes, come back, and then we're gonna go through it again. And it's like they're like helping until the point where you got it, you know. They're not like at some point, oh, I'm giving up on her. They're like, no, we're gonna do it again and again and again and again until you get it. And that's great.
Yeah, that's great to know that like EF teachers from Torbay and New York, they are both very
Yeah.
nice. Like I kind of have like a story to share. It was from my maths teacher as well, from in New York. One year, like during one day, it was so sunny because it was like it has been like snowing for the past months, and one day it was so warm outside. It was so sunny, and then the teacher decided, it's like, oh, you know what, let's go out and have our lesson on like on the grass field. And like everyone just went out with our computer, with our books. We just sat down on the grass, and you know, like when the winds are like blowing on your face, it was like, wow, so amazing. Like that won't be, I don't think I'll get to experience this if I study in the Hong Kong local school. So I am so grateful, and I really appreciate like small little things like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are like some things where you like where I was like, well, if I would have stayed in Germany, I would have never experienced that. And that's
That's true.
like, yeah. What do you think was the best part of like the boarding school life?
Um, I would say it's get to live with your friends, especially when you're like roommates. And if someday you feel like, oh, you know what, I don't want to have canteen food anymore, and then we can just order takeaways together, having food in our room on a small table. Like honestly, that is so cute, and like
Yeah.
we can like watch Netflix. Were there Netflix back then? Wait, I don't think there's Netflix back then. At least it's not famous. We're not watching Netflix, we're watching YouTube. Like watching YouTube and then having our Chinese food. Like honestly, it's so heartwarming. Like that's so cute. And I think the best part in to have like to stay in the boarding school is to actually really stay very very close with your friends, your international friends, where honestly I don't think there's better chance to get to meet so many people from around the world. Yeah. What do you
Exactly. It's like you make so many international friends, and they're like, I don't know, the friendships, they just mean so much to me. It's
think?
like, I don't know, I want to visit them. I want to see their, like, because I always said it's like to have two different worlds, like
Mhm.
the world at the F and the world at home. And for
Yes.
example, friends of mine, they visited me, like friends from Norway visited me last summer. I went to them for New Year's Eve. So it's like, I don't know, it's like it means so much to me to have friends all around the world and to still have contact with them, even though, okay, it's 3 months for me, but still like to have contact with them, to see like what they're doing, how it is going for them, because like you get to know each other so fast and you get so close, and it's
Mhm.
like you spend literally 24 hours of the day together, and
Mm.
then suddenly it's just like, okay, bye, and then you like it feels like you're never going to see them again, and it's
Yeah.
like so weird. Like I don't
Mhm.
know, the friendships mean so much to me. Not that the German friendships don't mean anything, of course they mean a lot to me as well, but it's like it's just a special friendship, and you have like memories you're never gonna have with anybody else again.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. So, how
Yeah.
do you make friends when you arrived at EF Academy?
Mm, I think honestly, my first friend was my roommate, which came at like 3 a.m. or something. She came like in the middle of the night and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And she was Italian. So at the beginning, I was a lot with the Italians and everything, and I still love them and I still have a lot of contact with them.
Mhm.
Like with some of them, of course. Like I think it's difficult to have contact with everybody you've been in with in school, but like with some friends, you like always have contact now and then, and it's like, hey, how are you doing? Just catching up. But I think it's just you have to be confident. You have to go up to people. You just have to sit next to them. You have to like just like if you see somebody who needs help, just go up to them, be like, hey, can I help you?
Mhm.
It's like getting confident, and I don't know, I mean, you can be whoever you want to be, you know, like there's nobody who knows you from home. It's like you arrive there and you're just who you want to be, and that's how people get to know you, and that's how you make your friends, and that's
Mhm.
something really cool.
Yeah, honestly, I agree, especially with the being confident part. I remember my first 3 months at EF. Um, I think I'm still am quite introverted. So when I'm in a new environment, in my mind, I was like, I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do. And I
Mm.
honestly want to make a lot of friends. And then, but I don't know what I was thinking. Usually I really have to take up the courage to walk up to someone's like, hi, do you want to be my friend? And usually it takes like 5 to 6 working days for that to happen. But that's really like the first 3 months when I was like, trying to get used to the new environment. But I'm so glad that I actually took up the courage, because if or
Same.
else like didn't get to meet all the amazing people that I've met today that are still called as friends, you know? Like, honestly, taking the first step, that's all you need to do. Like, everything will come very naturally when you take the first step.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it was like I was always like, I don't know who I should go up to. I don't know the people, whatever. But then at some point, I was just like, okay, Sophie, take yourself together and just go for it. And I
Yeah.
made amazing friendships with that. And it's like, I'm happy I did that step. And like, I got confident and I just sat down next to people or I just asked if they need help. And these are like friendships I like never want to lose. And it's great.
It's honestly so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you convince your parents that studying abroad was right for you? Because I mean, it's a big step. For me, the distance wasn't even that long, but for you, it was like a big distance.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, me and my parents didn't had this conversation of me studying abroad prior. I
Mm?
decided to go to EF Academy, but for some reason they had like a gut feeling that I would just go. I don't know why they had that gut feeling that someday I would just pack up my stuff and go. That what really exactly what happened. Like one day, one of my teacher in Hong Kong, like local traditional school, and he said like, oh, you're failing. Oh, so I was failing my Chinese as well. I don't know why I'm exposing myself right here. So like, my math is like not good, my Chinese not good, and the teacher's like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not too sure if you can get to like a decent university. And that's when I was so angry. I decided to go. So that's when I googled like I want to study abroad in the US. And then next thing I know, I called up EF Academy. It was like, hi, when are you free for an interview? Can I come up to your office? And then I told my parents.
Oh,
But my parents are okay with that. My parents are honestly so nice. Like they really love me so much. So as long as I'm happy and it's not like a crazy choice, as in like it's not dangerous, not like bad for me, then they're very okay with it. And I was like, yeah, let's go, let's go. So 1 month later, I paid all the deposit, I filled in all the application, then I was ready to go next year. So that honestly, I didn't have to convince my parents because
me
they were
neither,
like,
actually. Me neither.
right?
It was like my dad always wanted me to go abroad. Like for a gap year or something, just to go like 1 year abroad. And I was always like, nah, I don't know, I'm not sure. And then I started high school. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to get out of here. I was like, I just want to go out of Germany. And I looked up in the internet and I was like, what can I do? Because I mean, I already started high school. Is there an option? And then I found the IB diploma, just like doing your high school abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that sounds great. And I first was like, nah, okay. I mean, I found it and I just told my stepmom about it. And then my stepmom mentioned it at the breakfast table, actually. And my dad looked at it and he was like, well, if you do all the applications, if you do everything, I just have to sign, go for it. And I was like, what? And then
That's
I
great,
did it. And then I did it. And then like everything worked out. And like a year later, I was at the F and I was like, wow.
right? Like I honestly like it's like wow, it's just one small choice and then ended up
Yeah.
in a different
It's like
country.
Sunday breakfast table, and suddenly, like couple of months later, you're like in Turkey or New York, whatever, like sitting in school doing the IB diploma with an international community.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy. It's so crazy. Um,
Are there any advisors in the dorms?
yes. My house parent actually like my room was actually next to my house parent. I remember one time I forgot to oh wait, that is so dangerous. But I actually forgot to turn off my curler and left it on the toilet counter. Wait,
I
like that was so dangerous. But because thank God, next to my room it's the house parents' room, and I guess the ventilation that connects both toilet,
yeah.
right? So he can smell something is burning.
Oh,
So he knocked on my door. It was like, something is burning in your room. I was like, really? What? And then I was like, oh my God, my curler. So
oh
yes,
no.
that's advisor in the dorms, and I'm so grateful there are advisors in the dorms because technically when we're in EF Academy, we're still kids in a way, like we're still teenagers. So it's great to have like adults sitting nearby, so nothing dangerous would happen.
Yeah, I mean, and like I actually had a lot of house parents, to be honest. But like now in the second year, I had like one main house parent, and she was like also like she was the one which managed everything with the residences and everything. Love to Mama Kelly. um, and yeah, like she was always there for everything, and like our other house parents as well. But I remember especially with her when I had problems with home, because there were like some things happening at home, and of course you were like not capable of doing anything because you're like far away. And
Mhm.
she was always there for me. She always said like, if you want to cry in classes, just come down to my office and we can sit there and we can just talk about it. And she was always there for me, and my host mom then as well, and the other house parents as well. But like, I don't know, they were just great. They were always there. They were like a second family. Kelly was like my second mom.
Mhm.
And yeah, no, they
That's
were always there. They were always there for advice.
Yeah, honestly, like having like house parents as like your second, like feel honestly feels like your second family. And was it hard for you to being far away from home?
Um, Honestly, I think in between, yes, but in general, no. I mean, I love my family and everything, but I'm a person which enjoys to travel. I'm a person which enjoys to like get to know other cultures. So it was like something I was really excited about.
Mhm.
And of course, in between, I was like, "Oh, I want to go home, and things are like hard and everything." But things always got better, and there was always a friend or a house parent or any staff member which had a shoulder to cry on and which listened to the people. So it was like, I don't know, it was like somebody was always in the position of being like, "Oh, I want to go home," and there was always like the big community which was there like, no, stay with us, come on, it's gonna get better. It's like it's normal to have
Yeah.
that. And of course sometimes you get a little homesick, like suddenly you're gone for like 2 years. Okay, you're going home in between, but in general you're gone for 2 years doing your
Mhm.
IB diploma, being like super confident, changing as a person as well, because you get to know so many different people. And of course at a certain point you get a bit homesick, but I think I got over it like super fast all the time. Like it wasn't that hard.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. Like maybe because our personality might be quite similar, like quite adventurous. Like we just
Yeah.
want to go around and explore. It's not like I don't care about my family, but it's more like it's such a great opportunity. I don't want to waste it by, I guess, crying or upset. Of course, I get quite very homesick during like certain period, especially when I'm sick, when I'm having a cold, like having a fever, then I'll miss my parents a lot, you know. But
Yeah.
honestly, I would say at first it would be quite hard because like you're trying to get used to a new environment. But after a while, really, as we mentioned, like having the support from from your teachers, honestly, is kind of like your second home. And having like house parents, having your friends, having your roommate. Honestly, sometimes you just forget about the sadness you have inside of you, and you just want to go explore. You want to go out. You want to just be have fun. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, there are always moments where you want to throw away everything and you're just like, no, I want to go home and like forget about everything, like no IB anymore. But then there are like always friends or somebody who's like, don't be that negative. Come on, it's fine. Like keep your head up. And yeah, I think that helps a lot. Like knowing that there's always somebody to talk to, I think that helps a lot. And like, I mean, at the end, your parents are a phone call away. It's not that they're like
Yeah.
not reachable. So for me, it wasn't a big issue to be gone from home for a while. I mean, of course, in between it was hard, but in general, I enjoyed the experience. So like, I really wanted to be there, so it wasn't that hard.
Yeah. I'm so grateful that we got like WhatsApp and Skype, or else like I don't know how can I talk to
Yeah,
my parents.
exactly. Like FaceTime, it's like easy. It's just a call.
Yeah,
WhatsApp
like
call, which is like which is existing now.
yeah, thank God. Yeah.
Yeah. You studied the IB diploma as well, right?
Yeah, you
What
too, right?
were yeah, what were your expressions like? What did you think about it?
I would say it is honestly how, like, when I was about to do IB, like everyone told me how IB would actually prepare you for university. Not gonna lie, at first I was like, I'm not saying it's a scam, but at first, like, of course you would say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in university, that's when I really realized that actually helped me a lot in university, because I did sociology, and you know how IB is always like writing essays, and
Mm-hmm.
especially TOK, every subject we got like an IA. So
Yeah.
it's always writing. You're always trying to express yourself, to especially in like essay format, to really express what you're feeling, to develop your argument in a very neat way. And I'm so glad that we actually get to develop the skills during IB, except during university, because that would be horrible. And actually, I remember during my second year in university, and there were a class that was about like sociology, something research. So it's about like a course about how like the course teach you how to do a research basically. And on the slides they actually mention theory of knowledge,
Oh
and I
my
was
gosh.
I'm having deja vu. What is
To
this?
what extent?
Like to what extent? Like theory of knowledge, like history, and I was like, oh my god, I know
Like,
this.
stop.
Oh my god, bad memories, you know. But
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I did IB, because it's honestly so helpful when I was doing university, writing essays, like really get to pick up how to like develop your argument in a neat way, and TOK as well. So yeah.
I have to be honest because I started high school in Germany and I had 10 subjects, 5 higher levels and 5 standard levels. And I saw the IB and I was like, oh, 6 subjects easy. I mean, it's like chilling, you know? But then I was like, no, actually, it's not. It's so hard. It's like challenging. You have to think a lot. You have to like, I don't know how to say it, but you get your own personality while doing the IB, if that makes sense, because you
Yeah.
have so many things to do, like the IA, the extended essay, TOK presentation, TOK essay, then the subjects in general, and past papers. And it's like you always have your own way of writing it, and you find like your way of dealing with all this stuff, because
Mm.
it's like a lot at a time. Like sometimes you have like 2 IAs which are due the same date or something. I mean,
Mm.
then you can always talk to your teachers, and the teachers, that's something as well, your teachers are always happy to help. It's
Yeah.
like if you have an issue, if you're like, well, I don't know how to write that, I don't know how to like explain that, can you
Mhm.
tell me how to do that chart or whatever, and they're always like, yeah, no worries, and they will show you. You know, it's like you can send them an email at 11 p.m. and they're probably gonna answer you anyways.
Yeah.
And like the IB was challenging, but challenging in a good way, because
Mm.
it taught me a lot. Like, for example, I was a person, I never needed to study. In Germany, I never studied. And suddenly I was like, how do I study the best? But then there were ways how to study, and I found my way to study the best. And like, I like grew a lot while doing the IB.
Mhm.
And like the IB jokes you have like in between with your friends, it's like nobody wants to hear to what extent anymore. But at the end,
Yeah.
it's like actually a great question, because it's like asking things
Mhm.
about life.
Yeah.
It's
And it's
like,
not like yes or no anymore. Like you really get to express like to a certain extent, but why, you know? I
yeah,
honestly understand.
it's like you start to think in a different way, or like you start to see a different point of view, which is actually amazing because it prepares you for life, actually, not just for university, it prepares you for
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, honestly. I would say IB is a very active program. It really
Yeah,
requires you to engage. And I love the fact that they have, is it CAS? Is
yeah,
it?
Cass.
Like you really have to do different activities. So what activities do you take part at school?
So we did some great activities actually for CAS, like as a tutor group. For
Mhm.
example, canoeing, and I think it was cliff jumping. I'm not sure, but we were at least jumping off a cliff. um, and it was so, but like we were directly at the seaside, so it was like, I don't know, we could do it, and it was amazing. It was so much fun. I remember we all of us had so much fun. At the beginning, a lot of us were like super scared, and then we were at the end, we were like, I want to do it again. Um, then I tried climbing, for example. We had some, like, I don't know, I think you guys didn't have it, but we had a house system where we were competing against each other, like in Hogwarts and Harry Potter with like Sultan, Oyster, Albury, and Stace. And for that, we always did like a kind of competition, but for charity. It was like, for example, the Macmillan Coffee Morning. Do you like? I don't know if you know Macmillan Coffee Morning. It's like where you where you bake cakes and sell coffee and whatever, and you raise money for children in need. And we did it as a house competition, like the one who earns the most money.
That is nice.
Um, and then we had some other stuff, and there was always like a kind of charity team for each house, and we planned everything. Like we planned which cakes, how to get the money, what else could we do. We had things like throw a cake at a teacher or whatever. It was so funny. Like you could throw a cake literally at the head, like at the head of school and the deputy head of school for like paying £5 or whatever. And they were always like, yeah, we can do it. We will do everything for children in need. Our IB coordinator had to jump into the sea. I think it was November. He said, if you raise £250, I'm going to jump in the sea. And we raised even more than £250. And these were like great ideas where you could do like so much stuff. And I really enjoyed planning the charity stuff with some girls. And then, yeah, like what I enjoyed the most, I actually started boxing. I did boxing for a while because there was like a boxing club close to the school. And then we went boxing like once or twice a week. That was cool as well. Like I tried a lot of new stuff, but like my love is still like the gym. I enjoy going to the gym. It's like my balance to school. So I went with some friends all the time. It was like more fun to like know somebody in the gym. And yeah.
Oh, it's so fun. Actually, what you were talking about, like throwing kicks to the teacher, right? I think we had something similar as well. I think I forgot what happened, but I think that unfortunately one of our teacher got something, and we were raising money for her and the course of her sickness as well. And then they were kind of like bidding. They said like, if you donate the most money, you get to throw a
Yeah,
cake.
exactly. That's what we did as well.
Yeah, and I was like, that is actually so nice. And I
Yeah.
remember we were like gathering around the canteen, and I think a girl from Thailand, I think she donated quite a lot, and especially the teacher is her great friend as well, and she get to throw like a cake or pie in front onto like the headmaster face. I was like, that is so interesting.
That's actually, you know, but that's so cool because that would never happen
Yeah,
in a school in Germany. Like
yeah,
nobody, like no teacher would ever say, yeah, throw a cake at me for £5.
yeah.
But like our teachers were like, for charity, for like children in need, we're gonna do it. And I was always like, that's so great because that's like a relationship with a teacher you're not gonna have in your like home country. It's like they're more like your friends. You get to know them. You get to know their family. Like they show you pictures. They like you get to know their characteristics. It's not like just a teacher, you know.
Yeah,
It's like a
and
friend.
it's such a creative way to donate money and do charity.
Yeah,
I
and we
appreciate it.
found such crazy ways to donate money. If it's like we had pajama days, we literally all went in pajamas, and I
Oh, I
don't know
appreciate
what
that.
kind of days we had just to raise money for children in need. And that's so great actually that like a community or a school actually gets together to save money for people which are in need. And it's like, and to find like actually fun ways to raise the money. So for nobody, like nobody was like, nah, I'm not gonna pay that £1. Everybody was like, yeah, of course, £2, no worries, of course I'm gonna give them. And that was great. There was like such a great community.
Oh, that's so nice. That's honestly so nice. Yeah.
No, I enjoyed. I want another year of high school, really. I don't want to like like of
Oh,
course I'm excited for university, but like I don't know, EF was such a great chapter.
yeah. I hope you enjoy your university journey too, because it's gonna be so different than high school. You'll be shocked.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
the
so.
thing is I'm not gonna go back to the UK. I'm gonna stay in Germany.
Mhm.
So let's see. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope. I hope it's
But
nice.
but
Picture is nice.
I just hope that my like closest friends or like the friends I want to have contact with are like, I'm gonna see them in like, I don't know, 6 months, a year, whatever, and we're gonna hug each other and just gonna talk about the good old times and yeah. So this was our Q&A. Thank you for listening.
And if you have any question, please reach out to me or Sophie or write your questions below.
Bye.
Bye.